Look at this green volume. It is higher than the last volume. That means it's buy. No, you don't want to do that. We need to first understand the story of how trading works. Colors don't necessarily mean much, and the size alone doesn't necessarily mean much. One of the things you want to focus on is speed and time. How fast does the price drop, and how long did it take? So volumes is a very, very big topic, but there's a lot of misconceptions about volume, and more importantly, what you might know about volumes might not be the right way that you are approaching it. In this webinar, we're going to go through everything step by step. So I'm going to take you straight to the chart so we can go into it head on. So we're going to start off by talking about a few things when it comes to volume, okay? Now, how do you get this volume bar? The volume is generally at the bottom of your charts. Let's talk about some of the myths that revolve around volumes. So some of the myths about volume. There is a volume bar here. It's a red in color. That means the market is selling. No, you don't want to think like that. There is a green color volume here. That means it's buying. No, you don't want to do that. Look at this green volume. It is higher than the last volume. That means it's buy. No, you don't want to do that. So how do I do this? Okay. And what is the fastest way to do this? Let's go deeper now. So all the myths, right? Colors don't necessarily mean much. And the size alone doesn't necessarily mean much. It does have an influence, but it alone doesn't necessarily mean much. So let's talk about the training part now. I'm going to first show you how to do it. Then I'm going to show you why it's important to do it like that. All right, let's start with, I'm going to open up this chart. Okay, what I'm looking at right now is Aussie Swiss franc. The time is 4 hours. Okay, what matters is what is in front of you and what is going on. Remember how we just talked about that just because there's a high volume here and it's red in color, it does not necessarily mean it's going down. If I put a line like that and saying it's at resistance and there's red color volume, therefore it must be a sell, I should sell. We need to first understand the story of how trading works and then accompany that with volume to make this a lot stronger. Now, think about it this way. If the price is going down, I want you to always think of price going down as the store. If anything goes down, don't think sellers, think of a store. The store is offering a discount. Anything going up, just keep it simple. I want you to think like a buyer. So if something is going down and it starts going down aggressively, think about it this way. The price used to be here. Now the price has come down to here. Don't look at the chart. Look at it as when it was here, this was the price, and now this is the price. When prices drop in real life, you know something must be wrong. Why are they giving a discount on it? Maybe they're looking for a buyer. Now, if it's dropping, one of the things you want to focus on is speed and time. How fast does the price drop and how long did it take for that price to drop? So for example, if we say from this price, whatever that price is, let's call it $1. If it went from $1 to 10 cents here, let's just call this price 10 cents. And this happened in a matter of one candle. It's like, wow, that's a huge move. Now, what does it mean, a huge move? A huge move is you compare it to what it used to do. You got to compare it to itself. And that's how you know, wow, the movement here is very slow. And then the current movement like this one, wow, that's a pretty big movement. That's fast. And how quickly did it go up? Now, if the store is giving a discount and the prices are starting to drop like that, I want you to focus on the speed and time and tell me, how has it been going towards the end? Has the speed been getting dramatic? Has the time been faster? Or is it the opposite? The speed is slowing down and the time it takes to do from $1 to 50 cents, it was super fast. But from 50 cents down to 10 cents, it's super slow. This information tells you they're slowing down for a reason. Remember, the store is giving a discount because it's looking for a buyer. If a buyer is starting to show up, there is no reason for them to give a discount. So when we come into the mentality of, oh, it's sellers are selling, I should sell, and we blindly jump onto a sell because there is an SNR, we're going to get into trouble. We don't want to get involved in situations like that. Now, once you see things are starting to slow down, where the volume shows up in this entire process, there is volume here, right? From here all the way to here. There's volume there. Anything you notice different on this volume? On the volume, I have something called the moving average, which is the blue line on top. It's there to tell me if a volume is extraordinary or if the volume is, it's normal. Okay. So I don't want to say this volume is bigger than this volume, but it doesn't mean anything because it's average. That's what it's normally doing. So that blue line represents to me what it normally does. So what it normally does, I'm not interested in. Going back to our example, as when the store was giving a discount, and as the discounts were coming in, it goes full speed and barely makes a lower low. And now look at how the lower low is made with all that chop suey, right? Like chop, 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 chop. Okay, so it's very slow, very jagged, which means there must be a buyer around. And simultaneously, a above average volume shows up at the end. Now, on its own, this looks like above average volume too, but the story doesn't allow it. So if you think that's the bottom, you'll get in trouble. You see the difference? So you want to make sure it lines up with what's happening instead of just blindly saying, I'm going to just look at volume. Volume is very powerful.
Now, are you curious about the exact strategy Naveen has been using to approach the markets? The Mastering Price Action course reveals all of that. In that course, you're going to understand the logic behind each price action movement. And from that, you will be able to take your trading to the next level by having a much more solid understanding of the markets. And because you're a subscriber, just click on the link in the description below to access our exclusive discount. Time to take your trading to the next level. All right, let's get back to the video.
Okay, now that you've started to understand that things have started to pick up momentum here and there's very aggressive movement here. Now notice how the candle looks. The candle looks like has a big tail on the bottom and it was choppy and it almost says it's having a tough time making a lower low. This is first indications of warning. We see earlier it did the same thing here, but we don't know anything about it. So is this volume, it's not at the bottom, it's at the top of that swing. So does that mean it's at top? No, we don't really have much information on this thing because we're following the flow of the market. Okay, they're selling, they're selling, they're selling, they're selling, and then boom, volume shows up at the end and it's slowing down at the same time. Interesting. What we want to see next is what are they going to do? Now, following that, the follow through is boom. How's that for speed and time? Is it better than it used to be? Has it jumped up dramatically? Did it take less time to go up than it did to come down? The easier way to do it is like count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many candles on the way down? On the way up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the way to the top. Interesting. So slows down, volume shows up, very strong buyers come out of it. It's now telling you the store who was giving a discount is going to basically say, stop, no more discount for this guy because we found what we were looking for. There is a crazy buyer out there who can't get enough. What does that can't get enough means? When a price goes up so fast from this price to this price, it basically means there's a shortage. Okay, so if it just goes up like this, bloop, you're like, what's this? The bidding war is 10 cents? Really? You want to get involved in that? No. But if the bidding war is they went from 10 cents to someone's paying $2 now for this thing that cost 10 cents. Wow. I wonder what they know about what's going to happen in the economy that they want to load up right now. That's our first sign. We like that. So we use the volume together with the story to give us that little indication of, hey, somebody is here. And then we see the follow through. It is here. Don't trade it, but it is here. Next, we want to confirm, does he stop? Now, when a volume shows up here on this red bar, based on everything that's happened, a person looking at this and saying that's resistance, and at resistance, I have a high volume with a red bar. Do you look at this as a sell? Or do you try to figure out everything that's going leading up to that moment, telling you it's not selling? It doesn't want to do that stuff. You can even change the time frame a bit to find out exactly the details of all of this stuff. And you're seeing, okay, I see some volume there, and it's at the top. It looks like someone is selling, but you just went through the entire story and you're like, how could anybody be selling? The store owner was looking for a buyer showed up. The volume means a very different thing for you at this stage. What you're looking for is now confirmation of, tell me this volume is for me as a buyer. Doing a buy in this area is a lot smoother, safer, and headache-free than doing a buy, for example, here or here or here or here, and dealing with chop, 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 chop. I buy, it goes down. I sell, it goes up. I buy, it goes down. Like, what's going on? And then at some times when you do buy, it goes fantastically. Why does it work certain times and it doesn't work the certain time? Is because you are in the launching phase at certain times and you luckily grabbed it. So far, so good. Makes sense? So let's go with some yen pairs. Yens are very active as well these days. Let's do a CAD yen pair, for example. Now, in this process here, I think it's a buy. I think it's a buy. I think it's a buy. Suddenly it all works. That's weird. But when I was trying to do the same thing here, I run into a mess to a point where it's stressful. It makes me want to think of maybe trading is not right for me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay. So it's important to understand, what do they want? And then we go in and saying, leave it to me. I got this. So wherever you buy, you need to know it will go up further. Now, let's take a look at this from whether I do a 4-hour, daily, 60, 4 hours, weekly, monthly, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Answer me one thing. The current price is 110.71. It's the same price everywhere. It's not a time frame game. It is a price game. Now, let's take a look at this thing. Now, we're on a higher time frame here. This chart that you're looking at, it's been dumping like crazy. High volume right at the bottom. What does that mean? Does that mean buyers are coming? The answer is no. The reason being is the story says the store owner is looking for a buyer. Look at the speed. You don't want to get involved in a buy from that moment. It's going to be very dangerous. Okay, now this volume comes up. The store owner is looking for a buyer, giving discounts very aggressively. How do I know it's very aggressive? Look at the past. That doesn't look like anything. Look at this move on the way down. Oh, it's collapsing, right? Buyers, they don't do anything further. Sellers, they do it again. Now this time, when they go after it one more time, notice the action. Any lower low? No lower low, right? So whatever this momentum was is starting to die. The store owner is basically saying, I believe there must be a buyer here somewhere. I don't have a particular volume to back me up on that theory of, is there really a buyer here? All I have is a slowdown of the seller. Now, if a seller disappears, it doesn't mean a buyer appears. If you are the store, you're the guy who's giving a discount, and then high volume shows up and you're like, I don't know if this is a buyer. I've been giving discounts very aggressively. You slow down a bit. You're still giving a discount. Some buyers come. Then you give a discount again, this time a lot more, only to find out a buyer just bought higher than what he normally used to pay, and he became crazy. Higher low with speed and momentum. Wait a minute. We know what higher low does. What's with the power? Why is it so strong at the higher low when they see this information? The store stops giving a discount. Stop. Let's take a step back now. Why is it important to use volume together with your charts? Because at the end of the day, when we talk about story, right, we need to see who's desperate. We got to get that product and we need to sell it to that guy. But we need to know who's desperate, because remember, if you buy at whatever price you buy, do you know it's going to go further? That's the important question to ask. Okay, so in stocks, you have volume, right? So, when you're dealing with equities, you have volume, and the volume tells you how much money is being pumped into this thing. In Forex, you have it based on movement. Okay, so let's say every time a candle moves, your volume for each movement, it starts to go up. You can pretty much assume there's a lot of money behind that. Okay, so let's go on to another example, and then we'll move to some practice. Let's take a look at something pound dollar, right? This is a normal pair that everyone generally likes to trade. I'm going to pick a random time here, and the situation on this time is telling me they're aggressively selling. Now, the volume overall is high. When you see volume overall being high, you can help consolidate it by going up a time frame to find out what is it in a nutshell, rather than seeing all of it collectively. You can see it as one. Okay. But the reality is it's going down. There's no doubt on that part. So let's say if I go higher, even I can go up 2 time frames higher, let's say. So what I see is now it's consolidated into one, and I can see whatever this thing was, it was getting very slow. They got aggressive here. Volume showed up there, and then the buyer started to go up, 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 up. They sped up here, nothing happened, and then they slammed it very aggressively with volume. Interesting. So this is something that's telling you, for all this thing that was quiet, it got aggressive here. Notice how I'm saying quiet and aggressive are 2 different things. I'm not calling this aggressive because this is all very traditional and normal. It looks like they're all pretty much the same thing until I see this, and that's like, no, that is very different. I can see it from the rest. While it was doing that, the buyer stepped right back in. So obviously our store owner is going to say, wait. So they waited. The store owner waited, which is the right thing to do. That's what you should do. That's what I should do. If you are giving a discount for a certain product, but there's people willing to pay for it, anyone in their right mind would say, stop with the discounts, enough. And that's what this sign means. They were buying from here. They were buying from here. And then they got aggressive again from this price. Wow, they must really want this thing. Only to know it was a fluke, because it took 3 candles to go up, 4 candles, and 1 candle with volume to wipe it right back out. Why is my store owner doing that? What happened to the buyers that were trying to come in? Well, we never saw any buy indications apart from this area, but that quickly failed. And we're now resuming with this decision continues. Now that's a whole different thing. All right, now I'm going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to do a little bit of practice. Let's look at New Zealand yen. What I see is store owner giving discount, buyers buying, store owner giving discount, buyers buying. I go to the daily. Let's start with the elephant in the room. It's dropping dramatically, right? It goes down, 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 down. High volume shows up. What does that mean for you? Means nothing. Now my store owner will be a little bit confused of, he never slowed down, but then the buyer just jumped right back up at him. Not a lot. That is how much? 20%, 30% of the whole move. And it never slowed down that move. It's like I see 1 green candle there, barely, right? It reached here and then it goes boing. My store owner is going to be like, wait a minute, I'm curious, but I'm definitely not going to really pull back, right? Based on the performance of the buy and what you see in the volume. Are the buyers going to step in? Should you hit the buy button and hold on for dear life? This is going to turn into Bitcoin 2.0. Should you get hopeful? No, do not touch it. And then you see again a buyer attempting to go up. You see the speed of the movement. You see how many candles it's going up, and you look down. Bitcoin 6.0. Buy, 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 buy. You feel a little bit more certain now, don't you? I want you to read the market as it goes. I don't want you to look at it at one single candle and make a decision because you're bored. So when you set up a situation like this, where you feel it's done, baby, they're going to get desperate. So wherever you buy and position yourself, even if it's nasty, do you feel a higher percentage of it's probably going to move in your favor? Or do you feel, I hope I did my entry right? That's not a concern anymore. Okay, so recap. Is volume important? Absolutely, it's important. But the way people look at volumes, now you know the myth as well, a green color volume on its own doesn't mean buy, right? A red color volume on its own doesn't mean sell. Now, the other myth, oh, the volume's at the bottom. It doesn't mean buy. Just because it's at the bottom, that means it's over, it's going to buy now. It doesn't mean buy. Volume at the top doesn't mean sell. You got to put it all together and saying the volume is a very good tool if I get my story wrapped together with it. I hope all the information that you have, you can actually internalize it and take actionable steps immediately. I hope you guys liked everything that we talked about today, gentlemen and ladies. Please like and subscribe. If you like what we do, we catch up once a month to do all this stuff. If you are in a hurry, you don't want to wait once a month and you want to really get in heads on, then check out our courses that we have at urbanforex.com. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Nice day. Bye for now.